We could be near a peak in the sales values market. So is this a good time to buy a rental property in Sacramento? That's a question I hear a lot, and it's a great question. And there's no black and white answers, but there are some considerations to be thinking about if you're considering it, and I want to address some of those today. We are not in the same place that we were in 2005 when the real estate market burst and the values dropped by 50%. In 2005, I would have people come to me and say, hey, John, how much could I rent my home for? And the answer was it was about 50% of what their mortgage was. They were way upside down. Rent values did not support mortgages. We roll forward to 2020, rents have been increased by 40 to 50%, depending on the area. And now they come to me and they say, hey, John, how much could I rent my home for? And the answer is enough to cover the mortgage, which is awesome. It's a different place. Also, lenders are much more strict in their requirements for giving out the loans. So the people that have loans now can afford them. The rental shortage in the Sacramento area has become increasingly acute as the years have gone by because they're not building very many new homes compared to the demand put on by population here. So regulations are expensive, building permits are expensive. It just costs more to build a new house than the secondary market or the used market would cost. So there's not a lot of incentive for builders to build. And we're seeing in our rental side that we're getting 5, 6, 10, 20 applications the first weekend that something comes available for rent. So there's a housing shortage, and that alone tends to make the prices want to sustain or go up. Recently, COVID has exacerbated the rental shortages in Sacramento. A lot of people have figured out that they can work from home. They don't need to go into the office in the Bay Area. So Bay Area buyers are coming up here to live, and the rental shortage has gotten even worse. Another thing to consider is interest rates. Right now, investors can get a mid 3% investment loan, which is fantastic. But during the pandemic, we have printed trillions of dollars, and our national debt has ballooned, and that is going to put pressure to increase the interest rates. So it may be that even if values drop down over the next couple of years a little bit, investors will look back at the loan they got in 2020 in the mid 3% and say, wow, that was a fantastic buying opportunity because we just can't get money at that price anymore. I always advise investment buyers not to buy just on the anticipation of appreciation, but rather by cash flow and by return on your investment. If you're looking and analyzing from those directions, you're not going to get hurt by the real estate investment. When an investor can purchase a property and the rent will cover the mortgage and the taxes and the insurance and the property management costs, that's a good investment. The tenant's rent will cover their mortgage payment for them, and eventually they'll have retirement income. And that's true even if the rents don't go up, but we've seen rents always go up. So it only becomes a better investment as time goes on. Cash buyers need to be thinking about the return on their investment and comparing that to CDs, stock markets, other options that they have as investors. So they want to look at, if I pay cash for the whole property, how much is the rent return going to net me, and how does that compare to other investments? If it makes sense, then this real estate becomes a good value. When an investment makes sense in terms of cash flow and return on investment, then appreciation just becomes a bonus. Over the years, that's a great way to build family wealth, and real estate values in the long term always go up.